A man in San Francisco gets the very first Nissan battery car, the Leaf, this past weekend. This, just as GM sends its first shipments of Chevy Volts to the East Coast dealers yesterday. So the war of the electric cars is on, and there's a lot at stake for GM. Let's welcome back Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall, and from San Francisco, Olivier Chalouis, the owner of the first Leaf. I'm going to go right to you, sir. So tell us, give us a review of the car.
It's great. Much better than any car I've had before. I initially, thought I would make, compromises to get into an electric car, which would be cleaner, and actually, I now think that the electric cars are far superior to.
How long does it take to fully charge one of the cars, the Leaf?
So if you really go empty, 8 hours from home. But then, that's if I drive, 100 miles. I usually drive 20 miles a day or 30 miles, so, a couple hours, 3 hours.
And what we need to know is, let's say you run out of charge on the road. What happens? If you're stuck and there's not a plug, what do you do?
So you don't. You don't use the car to go to Tahoe, for example. So I use it to commute. I know that I'm going to be driving, 20, 25 miles. The car can do 100. I'm not going to run out of juice.
All right, hang in there, Olivier. Let's go to Leslie. Leslie, GM, giving us a first glimpse of the Chevy Volt on the East Coast now. GM spending a ton of taxpayer money to put a $40,000 car. By the way, that car would be probably $60,000 if it wasn't for the taxpayer.
Well, hey, you're getting something back then, Eric, aren't you? One of the things I'm glad you asked, Eric, was, I'm here in California where we have a lot of hybrid drivers, and the conversation around the water cooler this morning was basically that 8-hour charge time, because unlike those of us, myself included, who are still putting gas in our car, if you or I are on low, that reserve tank, or even run out of gas, bada bing, bada boom, you got a gas station, you call AAA. That's not the case when you have to plug your car in.
Let's stay on GM, Gibson. Let's talk about this $50 billion. I guess if the government sold out our share of stock in GM, we'd get maybe $20 billion back, 15, $20 billion. They still owe us a ton of money. And frankly, I'm not thrilled that the UAW is up about $4 or $5 billion on this deal.
No, I'm not thrilled about it either. And the thing is, look, if Olivier buys a car from Nissan and other people do, great. I sort of object to GM, which has this government push behind it to push electric cars out there that may not be very good. They may be failures. The taxpayers may take a big bath on it. If it's a market-driven thing, I'm all for it. If it's a government-driven thing, I'm suspicious.
It's a government.
Well, sure, and a lot of things.
This is a transfer of money from the taxpayer to, among other things, the UAW.
Well, I mean, again, you want to blame the unions.
Don't be in denial.
Of course, you always do. And the beauty of this is, if the Volt fails, John, let's say you're right, it totally collapses, people hate it, it sucks. Who is going to bear the brunt of that? Well, of course, the taxpayers, but the workers are going to get laid off. Now, did the workers sit around and decide, let's build a Volt? No, the bosses did that, but the bosses are all covered. No problem.
The UAW, which some blame for the problems of GM over the past 15 years, it went from #1 car maker to getting slammed to losing money. The UAW, their legacy costs, the UAW, with no investment whatsoever, ends up with billions of our dollars.
That's right. And don't forget, it was last year at this time that liberals were howling and whipping out their violins, saying it's Christmas time. They need a huge bailout, everybody, so we got to funnel a lot of money in. Look, I think this, again, is government picking the winners and losers. And this time, it just happens to be GM, and it happens to be the Volt. Again, this government cannot just let the free market go. It has to get its hands in and muddle, and the taxpayers now are on the hook.
Hey, so hold on, guys. Olivia, how much is that car?
33,000 before federal tax credit and
let me ask you this. So you're getting a federal tax credit to buy a foreign car, is that right?
Well, the Leaf is going to be manufactured in the U.S. starting in 2012, I believe.
However, you're still being tax credited to buy a Nissan, a Japanese domiciled company car.
Yes.
All right, Leslie, how do you defend that? How in the world can you say it's okay for Mr. Olivier to get whatever the number is? I think it's $7,500 for a Volt. I'm not sure what the Leaf they gave him. We'll ask him in a second. How can you defend that? That is absolutely outrageous and ridiculous.
Well, first of all, we have to look at the VIN number, because what I have been taught by some of the car folks out there is many Japanese vehicles, Nissan included, are assembled in the United States, parts made in the United States, some in Japan. That is determined by the VIN number. I don't know what his VIN number is, so I don't know where his car was assembled. If it was assembled here in America, I think it's a good idea.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. those profits, no,
it does matter. It does matter. It directly translates to American jobs.
Those profits. Olivia, how much is your tax credit?
$7,500.
$7,500.
So
Hold on. Gibson, I want you to tie this up for me. Why in the world are we paying Olivier $7,500 to buy a Japanese car?
Because we have a lame duck Democratic administration that believes in this stuff, and it will spend, you know, tax money to encourage people like Olivier to buy these things and go out and try it and
not make any money off it.
And it's like this is part of the philosophy that Ron Kuby represents and that it presently is running the country.
We're going to have to leave it there, Kuby. I'm sorry.
I'm shocked.
It's blowing up right next to you. Get some strap. Olivier, they're going to say thank you to you, sir, very much. Thank you very much. All right, we have to leave it there. Up next, shouldn't it be easier to put a lousy teacher in the corner